in about 2001, 2002.
And Chester can actually sing, you know, he can scream too, he's got some vocals on him, you know.
A landmark album in a very interesting period of rock's history, actually.
When Hybrid Theory was first coming out, I actually sat down with Chester and Mike and did an interview with them. And it was really interesting because here's a band that faced so much rejection and that had struggled so hard and been pushed so hard. And you rarely see a band that's as zealous and committed and that really believed in themselves. We're so used to other people not believing in them.
2001 was Linkin Park's time to shine. Hybrid Theory became the best-selling album of the year, selling 5 million copies, proving that doubting record companies wrong.
How do people respond now? And what they always love to say to Jeff, they say, well, you know, the demo you were giving us didn't have these songs that were on the album. And they say, yes, they did. What are you talking about? Yeah, the songs are on there. You know, you want me to break it out? I mean, in the end, you know, Crawling, all those songs were on the original demos that we were sending out, and the people didn't get it.
There's great song content there, you know, they have great concepts, and, you know, great melody. You know, you can actually sing along, and, you know, you get the gist of their songs, and, you know, it sets different moods for you, and that's what I like. It's very moody music, you know what I mean?
Linkin Park's music is different than what I've been hearing. It's really crisp, really clear, you can hear everything. So that side of it, the production value, was what I was really impressed by with Linkin Park when I first heard them.
Because these guys are smart guys. They're not just dipshits that went out and learned how to play guitar. I mean, it just goes to show, if you got a good head on your shoulders and you're smart about your business, you can get anywhere you want to get.
Because it's just raw passion and it's real. You know, they're not dressed up, no one's playing with them on strings.
There's a lot of talented groups out there, but it takes more than talent to get to that position. And from a personal standpoint, I think that's inspirational, just knowing if you know your stuff and you know where you're going to go and you're a smart person, you can get there.
One of the strongest points for Linkin Park is that they actually have songs. I don't care how you cut it, but music really, for me, is about songs at the end of the day.
And I think their music is really good. Like, I'm not talking about, like, yeah, I like that song, but I'm saying artistically it's played really good, and it's really heavy, and it's light at times too. It's really well produced.
They write strong songs that are very much of the now.
Chester's a live, raw guy, and Mike's very creative and talented in his writing, and it just works together. The chemistry of them all is just, you know, it's undeniable.
They have managed to garner the correct sort of attitude and lifestyle aspects that go along with those songs. So they are very much a band of the moment.
After a brief stint away with his band The Snacks, Phoenix came back to the fold. Linkin Park were reborn and the band were on their way up.
These days it's really difficult though to get a second song on radio. Most bands only have one single. So when Crawling got on MTV and it got on the radio, it really showed this was a band that had some depth to it. But when In the End came out, and that was the biggest song of all, and it crossed over and it got on to more mainstream radio, at that point you knew they were headed for the stratosphere. Linkin Park is an interesting band because so many bands that sell those kind of units are so well known. You know, you can say that typically it's just a singer that's recognized.
I think it's easier for rock and metal bands to maintain a degree of anonymity.
I was talking to Mike at the show the other night about that. I was like, you know, did you get chased here by the paparazzi or something? And he was like, no. He goes, they don't bother me. I said, how do you manage to do that? And he said, I guess I'm just not interesting enough.
We don't get like mobbed all the time and stuff, and we've somehow been able to maintain a certain level of like normality.
You know, there are one or two very big names, like Ozzy Osbourne, like Marilyn Manson, who will always attracts the spotlight. But you know, otherwise the media's pretty pig ignorant about rock, thank God.
There is no nights out with Linkin Park. You know, that's why the paparazzi doesn't follow. A night out with Linkin Park is, I take you to the Scotland Yard pub, you have 2 Newcastles, and you go home with a headache. That's a Linkin Park night out.
They're not a band that's gone very big on image. They've chosen to adopt a fairly low-key persona facially as much as anything, and perhaps concentrate more on the music, the direction that they're coming from musically, the way that they're going about it, which I think makes a lot of sense to them.
They go to any hip-hop show they want here, and nobody bothers them. I don't even think a lot of people even recognize them.
You don't really hear about Chester partying it up at Mondays at Joseph's in Hollywood. You know, these guys are probably spending most of their time at home just trying to think of different creative ways to express the band that takes them out of the norm.
But they don't seem to have a problem with it. They handle it really well, and I don't think they have anything interesting enough for the paparazzi unless they were boning like Paris Hilton or something, you know? Which they aren't, because they're all married.
When the cats from Linkin Park come into the store, they're easily recognized. They're a huge band over here. And I got, you know, customers sometimes, but a lot of the employees, especially employees in the guitar side, are coming over and they're like, oh, wow, the Linkin Park guys are here. Can you get an autograph for me? Can you get me into their show? If I bring a CD player, it's like, settle down, guys. It's like, they're here to do some business.
One distinct thing about this band is they all had very different personalities. One thing I learned early in this business is never question chemistry. If it works, don't fix it.
I think one of the things that helps them get along is because they're not going after that rock star vibe. See, one of the things that happens is a band goes after a rock star vibe, and after a certain point they start to believe they're a rock star, and that's when everyone starts fighting. These guys realize where they came from, they realize who they are, and they're very focused on what they want to do.
To be a group together on the road and to be doing interviews and a bunch of crap that we do, you have to have a lot of patience. And communication skills. Huh?
I designed a system for Brad, had him come into the store one time, and I met him, and he was very soft-spoken, really sweet, nice, humble guy. Joe's also very, very much the same way, very humble, but he's a lot of fun.
Joe was there. He was kind of like that backbone. He was there. I mean, he just covered it all. He knew everything. He watched everything. He knew what was going on. He was, you know, just like his turntable spin. He was there, man.
I think the thing about Linkin Park that keeps them on top is that they're a total package. They have the songs with the good hooks that are really easily marketable. They have the looks that are really easily marketable. There's a lot of people in the band, and I think that at times that can help a band out because they get a lot of fresh ideas. Each member can give their input.
Well, 6 people being in a band, whether it's 2 people in a band or 6 people in a band, if you spend that much time with somebody, it becomes like a marriage. And I'm sure they have problems like everybody else does, but like I said, they're smart enough to know they have to make it work, because what else are you gonna do? I mean, they could go do other things because they're all smart and they do things individually, artwork, whatever. But this is their